Welcome to OnlyBimmers, your exclusive BMW review channel. Today we're going to talk about the BMW 5 Series facelift, exterior and interior features. We also have two different cars here on location, a full tour of all the details, all the changes here with the facelift. I can tell you it will be very interesting. Join us. Please subscribe to us if you haven't done so far, and thank you so much for all long-term subscribers. Here the new BMW 5 Series in the front. BMW 5er would be the German pronunciation, by the way. Here you can see the new double kidney. It is wider than before, more aligned with the headlamps, and they also receive new daytime running light signatures. LED is the new scheme, of course, all over the place. It starts already base LED headlamps. They more have a U form as a daytime running light. This is, in some markets, optional adaptive LED then with this daytime running light form. The US, for example, will directly start with this here. This is also a matrix LED with high beam function. And the one you can see here with the blue accentuations would be the third step or the second step in the US. This is the BMW laser light. Now, again, we are allowed in the market up to a 650 meter range of high beam and also with an adaptive function. You can see the blue accentuations also that are actually shining to the top. This again is not allowed in the US because of police regulations. Yeah, it's always so different what is allowed and what not on the different markets, but we try to cover as many deals as possible. But definitely you can remember all the way LED now and also then in different steps. This is also the M Sport model. That means a stronger lower spoiler, also with sporty elements here and here, and the color at this vehicle here is called Phytonic Blue. And here you can also see the new turning indicator signature, or also when you put on the headlight lights. Here you can see that the normal daytime running light, the second L here, is being replaced then by the turning indicator. I think a very nice integrated solution. And you have it here also, the turning indicator in the side mirrors. 4.96 m, 16'3" or 195 inches, 2 centimeter or 1 inch longer than before, but of course the wheelbase also hasn't changed. It's just a little bit more spoiler overhang because they changed the front and the rear end of the vehicle. In the side profile, not too many changes, besides a couple of new colors. Again, the Phytonic Blue is one of the new colors. Here you can see the M badge because it's the M Sports package, which is the design package, so you can also pick, for example, the plug-in hybrid and then still go for this M look. 17 to 20 inch wheels available. These are the top ones, 20 inch. It's also a completely new M wheel here for the 5 Series. So a very strong look here already for the plug-in hybrid variant, which will here in the 530e also come for the US. In this case also then with black frames here around the windows, but there's also the chrome style available if you prefer it a little bit more elegant. Other than that, the 5 Series here sedan, typical sedan shape. In the European markets, you also get the Touring, which is very famous there, and of course with the continuing roofline. We'll soon also talk about the engines. Let's first finish the rear. In the rear you get new tail lamps here too. They are first of all more three-dimensional in the base shape, and then also they are directly behind this top layer. Usually manufacturers add another layer on top of that. In that way here you're basically closer to the light itself, so it looks even more three-dimensional. Very interesting. Also a new back part here for the spoiler, and this M Sports package also adds this diffuser here in the lower rear, a sporty design and also with contrasting color. And again, no job for the Autogefuehl fake exhaust police here today, because the rear tips here, they are actually going through this one element with the real exhaust, and they're always in this trapeze style now. Technology-wise, by the way, you get a base suspension, you get an adaptive suspension optional. The Touring gets a rear axle air suspension to keep the niveau when you have a lot of loading in the rear. And also, first time now available for the plug-in hybrid versions. So for the whole model portfolio, except the True M model, gets the integral active steering. So that's the rear axle steering, goes 3 degrees in the opposite side from the rear axle than the front wheels for more agility at slower speeds. And you also have a new turning indicator for the tail lamps in a very, very slim style. What do you think about it? Do you prefer it, or do you prefer the older one, which was more, higher, wider, more classic? I think it's quite an elegant solution. And for another styling detail here, this is a Bernina grey color, also very interesting, together with black wheels. So this is this shadow package, 19-inch wheels, and we also see some black accentuations here in the laser lamps. Which one do you like better for today? This one here or the blue one? And the Bernina grey car from the rear, they can also take a look at that. Even this one then here has a contrasting look. This is also the M Sport model, and when it says X-Drive at BMW with the 5 Series, it's always a rear wheel biased all-wheel drive, and it's also the very same case for the plug-in hybrids, because the electric motor is actually before the transmission, and so there's no change in the all-wheel drive distribution. As for engines, 2-liter 4-cylinder or 3-liter 6-cylinder, both petrol and diesel. Then there's also the V8 petrol for the 550i and also for the M5. And new plug-in hybrids with increased electric range, either like this here with the 4-cylinder plug-in hybrid 530e, or there's also the new 6-cylinder plug-in hybrid in the 545e. However, this one here only available as a sedan version and also not coming to the US. Strange. I think a plug-in hybrid as a sedan here, 6-cylinder, that would have been something for the US. Yes, sometimes the market strategies are a little bit strange. So again, this here, the 6-cylinder PHEV sedan only and not in the US. So here the 530e will be the plug-in hybrid version for the US, and it will also be available then in Europe as a Touring. And still with 5.9 seconds to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour, it still has some decent power and also upgraded range. So now they say is about 60 kilometers or 35 miles pure electric range. And the new battery, 12 kilowatt hours or 11.2 kilowatt hours net. You'll charge it right here, driver's side, and 3.7 kilowatt max AC charging. Not too much, of course, but you usually leave it overnight and then it's already full again. Yeah, well, and which engine should you pick actually? Well, the new plug-in hybrids, they're really interesting. I think especially the 6-cylinder plug-in hybrid. And maybe, when you get some governmental subsidies, especially or taxation profits and so on. Other than that, in general, when the plug-in hybrid is not that useful for you from your driving profile, of course, always the 530D, the 6-cylinder diesel with 286 horsepower, or the 540i, the 6-cylinder petrol engine with 333 horsepower. Both are really great engines. We've known them before, and these would be the engines to go for from a pure combustion engine point. Of course, they are not the cheapest ones. If you rather want to go in a budget way, then you would just pick the entry 4-cylinder engine. Interior starts with the key. So here the normal small key that would be standard, or then with the M colors when you have the M Sport model. And optional, you can also pick this big display key. However, then you also get the full set. So you get the display key and a small one here. So you can then also vary, or depending on who's using the car. The disadvantage is this one here, the big display key is just bigger in the pocket and so on. However, I like to have the option to see, is the car closed or opened at the moment? So this is a nice thing to see if if you're not really sure if you have closed the car. However, the more practical one in general will of course be the lighter and slimmer one. Now with the 5 Series facelift, you can also use your Apple iPhone to open and close the vehicle with the app. So you have to go then inside the app and open it. Not yet like with Tesla that you just have it in your pocket and then approach the vehicle. This will maybe come at the later stage. Works via NFC. And one catch is, so far it was available with Android. That support is ending then with the facelift because they need to change the system. Now they go with Apple because they say that more fits to our customers. BMW says they have more Apple customers than Android customers. And now to the interior. This will be very exciting. First of all, door closing sound. Very solid. Then inside of the doors, you have the sporty insert right there. It's also in a matte style. Soft touch top part, and also here leather red Sensatec use here at the inside of the doors. Optional Harman Kardon sound system. Also bottles will fit right there. Then it's also here again with the M Sport model with the entry badges, aluminum pedals. The ambient lighting is, for example, already integrated right here. There's also a soft touch right there. Sensatec dashboard is also available, by the way. Then more ambient lighting right there. This also then gets the M steering wheel. Cruise control controls the left side here, right side for voice activation if you don't use this Hey BMW, or also for the volume right here. And heated steering wheel, if you have the option, is activated right there. And then big news for the seat. In Europe, you start with a base fabric seat that looks a little bit slimmer than this one and is available either with fabric or Sensatec in 3 colors. This one here is the sport seat, an option in Europe, or standard in the US. You see with a little bit more bolstering right there, so a little sportier style. So really cool that they also put it standard for the US. And this one here, as you can see it right here, this is the new perforated Sensatec. Also available in 3 colors, black, beige and brown, or cognac they call it. Very interesting, first of all, because it is now perforated, so it is passively breathable. That's definitely a step forward, and they massively stepped up the game as for the quality. It feels so soft, no one could really feel a difference to like the top luxury, high class, most expensive option for the usual animal skin. This one here even feels softer than the animal skin option, which we also can show to you. Very interesting. And the difference, by the way, if you have the base seat, it will look like this perforated all over the place in the Sensatec. And if you have the sport seat, you also get this quilting structure. So this is then reserved for the sport seat only. Very interesting, especially here it feels very plush and soft. So this is a massive game changer here in the top luxury segment at BMW. And let's get inside. Seating test. So it's really, really comfortable indeed. I've been driving so many different 5 Series throughout the years now, and this is really probably the most comfortable seat indeed. No matter now the ethical discussion, if I would just take the comfort, this is really soft and plush when sitting on it, and again, a little bit more breathable as for the perforation. Make no mistake, a pure fabric seat, which we could have in Europe, would still be better as for the breathable functions. It will still be a little bit cooler in summer and a little bit warmer in winter. So just from the climate options, I always, advise to go for fabric seats. But of course, it's always nice to have, this, tactile feeling from the leatherette. And that's also an advantage, and it feels really premium and luxury alike. So very satisfied, a big step forward as for this. When you now go a little bit deeper into the sustainability aspect, meanwhile, you can also produce the leatherette from recyclables. That would be the best way, and it's also being done. We presented, a lot of new cars. BMW also does that with their i cars, for example, the BMW i cars, BMW i3, for example. Here, in this case, not yet the case. So they also want to improve the recyclable share then in the future. But here, with these seats, not yet. However, it's a very high grade. And if you then take it into relation, how much oil is being burned for fuel and how much oil you need for producing these leatherette seats, it stands in no relation because it's just a very, very tiny share. And for fuel burning and for energy consumption, you use so much more oil. So if you also compare it, like animal skin seat and leatherette seat, the overall energy that's being used, the CO2 output, and of course all the ethical factors for humans both and animals, so much lower here for the leatherette seats. So you burn more oil while producing animal skin because of the energy consumption than for this one. So this one is already a massive step forward, and the best would of course be when it's also then produced from recyclables or maybe even plant-based materials. That would be the next step, already done in other cars, but here already for the top luxury segment, I think a very big step forward, really cool. And headroom here for the 5 Series sedan, 1.86 or 6'1", plenty of headroom left. This one, the version without the panoramic roof. And I also want to show you this seat here. First of all, this is now the animal skin material, and it feels exactly the same as the Sensatec. No one can feel or see the difference. Just want to show you this one here as well, because this is the beige option just for the coloring, and you can get the same color here also for the Sensatec seats. Now the interior overview, BMW 5 Series facelift. Here you can see the nice ambient lighting integration, of course set to Thomas Blue, and again with the nice insert right there. And it's also cool that the screen form here is mirrored in the lower part right here. Well, here a lot of black panel lacquer use. That's not my favorite, but other than that, we also picked the bright car here just for you as a display. I told you also the Sensatec seats are available in the bright style. That always gives a little bit more light to the interior. Here again with the M steering wheel, shifting pedals are also available for the combustion engines. And the screen setup, it would start with a 5.1-inch small screen with analog gauges, still available for the base model. On the right side then a new 10.25-inch screen, so bigger than before in the facelift. But this one here is the optional setup, 2 times 12.3-inch, so digital instruments on the left and the bigger screen on the right. However, both screens, the smaller and the bigger one, come with OS 7 operating system 7 now by BMW. That means over-the-air updates, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Yeah, the gesture function is always funny. So also Android Auto now available, but both wireless and wireless only. That's, I think, the catch. I like to be able to plug it in if I want to, because more secure connect, or more reliable connection to me, I think. But only available in a wireless way, but now both systems. Actually quite cool. Soon more details to the software here. Then you can see in the lower part, you have these hotkeys here where you can, for example, plan some things like here at the moment, mobile devices, or here for planning, charging, climate, but you can individualize it totally. There's still a manual manual volume knob. That's cool. And also manual climate knobs. I like to have these. This really nice function. You have the display right here, also very sophisticated one. That you can see the temperature, so easy to control it while driving. Also ionization of the air is available, so straightforward still. Then in the lower part you slide this open, have an inductive charging pad for your phone. However, it tends to heat up quite a bit in these BMW. I think they need a solution for that. Maybe a smartphone cooler. I don't know. Adaptive cup holders, and there's a normal USB-A charger in the front, but most of the time when you have a wireless connection of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you would use then also inductive charging. Then you have the automatic gear selector here, put it like this, or then you can also put it to the left when the car is on for the manual shifting mode. Then you have the driving mode selector, sport mode, hybrid mode in this case because the plug-in hybrid, or the pure electric driving mode, battery safe mode. And on the right side, next to the touchscreen, you still have this nice sounding selector here, turning and pressing, also some hotkeys, for example, for the GPS map and so on. Then this split-way opening of the armrests, good quality, and then there's a USB-C charger in there, but some shallow space only. And if you know me, I still like the BMW wings light design. You know they used to have that on the exterior. Too bad it's gone on the exterior. But I really like it as long as it's still available on the interior. Now to the infotainment screen. Once again, touch here and very responsive, good CPU. And also how you get to your destination, usually pretty flawless. You can either then use it here with touch. You can also use the turning and pressing knob here for zooming in and out. Or for example, also the voice input, either with Hello BMW or another activation word. Drive me to Berlin. So you can also set your personal activation word. And here, just Berlin, or then to BMW dealer in Berlin. So that works quite well. So very nice integration. What you can also do is set the temperature when the engine is running, for example. So some voice command actions only working when the engine is running, actually. Or also new for this vehicle is now that you can say lower the windows, and then the windows are being lowered. Also interesting voice function, new one. Then the car menu right here. Oh, I also have the color here in the visualization. I like to have these details that they really pay attention that it's the proper color that is being set here. For the plug-in hybrid, you can also plan your charging, for example, or there's also a preconditioning before departure, not only for heating, as with the independent heating, but with the plug-in hybrids, also for cooling before. Driving information, then, for example, you also have some sport displays for G meter and so on, so you can play around with that a little bit more. Other than that, this is one of the two main menus, and the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto integration. There's a hotkey in the top part. Good integration all over the screen. That's nicely done. And let's listen to some music. Yeah, maybe that's the proper one for this one. And Harman Kardon optional sound system, and it's a really, really good one. Bim bim bim. Wow, very nice surround sound. Love that. And now we switched to Jonas's phone because he has an Android phone. Then you have the Android Auto symbol in the top part, and for the very first time, yay, in a BMW 5 Series, we can see how it looks like to have the Google Maps integration directly and the Android integration. So this also works very flawlessly. That is the home button, and this is how the Android Auto then looks like in this BMW. They will roll it out to all OS 7 systems. So if you have the big screen and the operating system 7 like this, it can also be retrofitted to your vehicle. And of course, for all future BMWs with the big screen, they will have it. And the digital instruments, 12.3 inches, clear to read, and also with a nice blue visualization on the inside. You can have GPS information on the inside. That's also the reason why the RPM meter goes counterclockwise. Here, when the engine is not running, you don't see too many information. This is a display car, so we cannot turn on the engine here right now. But other than that, there would be the RPM meter, or here for the plug-in hybrid, you have like a gauge where you see where you are in an electric state, and then above that you can see that the combustion engine is on. Very interesting. You can see more of that in the driving part of the plug-in hybrid vehicle. Head-up display, it's not flickering in real life, by the way. It's just hard to put it that way on camera. Speed, or also here from an Android Auto you can pick your music list, and also some GPS arrows will be displayed. And here in this vehicle there's a feature to that on Autogefuehl as well. Sound design by Hans Zimmer. So for the electric vehicles and the plug-in hybrid vehicles, now a startup sound like this, and also when you shut down the vehicle, so special sounds for that. Here not yet when you drive electric, so the all electric vehicles in the future will also have like a driving electric sound design. This is not the case yet, but here then for start up and also powering down the vehicle. Once again, and this very vehicle here has the option here for the tinted windows in the rear. Looks more sinister. Ooh. Then let's open the door, and you can see soft materials inside of the doors, and again these insert leatherette covers at the armrests here. And the cool thing is also that for the rear seating, when you have these new Sensatec seats, you have also perforated Sensatec in the rear here. This is very cool, so you also have a little bit more breathable rear, and also here in the rear they do not save material, no cost cutting. It's also a very soft one, not as plush of course as it with a quilted structure in the front, but here also both very high quality, and you feel here also the difference. This is like the normal, more old school one, and here then there's also the new perforated one. It feels indeed also a little bit better. Now let's get inside. As for the legroom, standard, of course, the Facelift hasn't changed that. You still have plenty of legroom right here. Yes, the car is also very long, so it's no wonder. And headroom also directly works for me. The touring version, the Estate, of course, would continue a little bit further with the headroom than when you're even taller. And ISOFIX at the outside part. That's the usual thing. And The cup holders here are also somewhat adaptive. Yep, let's put them in again. You can also use this one here as a ski hatch. And how we fold the seats completely, we'll do that from the trunk area. Sitting in the middle part, because of this all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive middle tunnel, it works with the legs on the side, and headroom still exactly works, but it's not the most comfortable one because it's stiffer in the middle part. And they now changed it to USB-C chargers here in the rear also, and you can also get a 4-zone rear climate unit. And in this vehicle you do not have the tinted windows, but you have the manual shades. You can order that as an option like this, and also a tiny separate one for the second rear window here. And another advantage for the Sensatec is, here you can see in the animal skin spec, the rear seating here has no perforation. Whereas in the Sensatec, also with the beige color, you would get also perforation, so a little bit more breathable for rear seats. Boot capacity of a 5 Series sedan, 530 liters. However, here with the plug-in hybrid, you do lose 120 liters, and that's here in height because of the battery, which is placed below this. So, soon more to the measurements. The first visual thing you can see here, you can also put this one here down, then you have more height right here. And if you put it up again, the advantage is that you have an even loading sill. This is very rare for a sedan. Again, you lose in height, but an even loading sill is also good to load things in and out. And if you put a backpack in here, for example, you might think this won't fit because it looks like it would be higher, but indeed, because there's some more space at the under part of this boot lid, so this does exactly fit, so it works still with an upright backpack. But once more, if you want more height, then you can put this down again, and then you're a little bit more flexible, because then here the height is about 50 centimeters, whereas with the even loading sill right here, this is just under 40 centimeters, so you gain about 11-12 centimeters by that. Other than that, the length right here about 1 meters and 10, and the width in the top part here is more than 1 meters 20. However, then here more deeper inside, this is very narrow, only a little bit more than 80 centimeters. And then we can also fold the seats right here. We have to release them and then have to go around, and then you can fold them all flat for the maximum setup, like this and this. And when you then measure it to the front seats, this is also very typical for this segment, that you almost get 2 meters in the length to the front seats. And here we go. So here, there, almost 2 meters, almost a full ruler. And now to our conclusion, BMW 5 Series facelift. You can see the front here with the sleeker all around, design, more modern, also with the wider double kidney. It looks then even a little bit sportier than before, and also the new tail lamps make it even more modern. You can also go for the optional laser lights, so also upgraded in the technology, even more high beam use for that. The interior also with some notable changes, for example with the new infotainment, both in the base setup and also in the optional setup. Now with the Android Auto use as well for both system sizes, and in general with the newer operating system you have the natural voice input. This is also quite cool to use and makes, for example, GPS input even easier. Then the seats, with the Sensatec seats today, we had in that grey vehicle with the black interior. Really cool, and again available in 3 different colors. This is a massive step forward, both in comfort and in sustainability. And it's also what I always have been saying, like, to combine the luxury and the sustainability aspect, you can indeed have both with that. Very comfortable seat, available in 3 colors. And also a little bit more breathable, a great idea. So far, this trend has been maybe for smaller cars. Now finally also at BMW in their top segment cars. You could also say that the 7 Series top segment, but you can also, combine them. I would still say 5 Series is among, the top choice vehicles, definitely. Then also driving-wise, it will be very interesting. Not so many changes, of course, with the facelift as for the driving. This is then more about the plug-in hybrid versions. And we will have a separate video on that. Then you can also tune into the plug-in hybrid driving review of the facelift. See you there.